Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, لَنْ يُفْلِحُ قَوْمٌ, a people will never be successful. وَلَّوْ أَمْرَهُمْ imra'atan, who entrusts their affairs to a woman. That means you, brother. If you let your wife wear the pants in your home, if you let your wife call the shots in your home, your affairs will never be successful. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, he said, لا يتم إيمان العبد حتى يغيظ امرأته في الله جل وعلا. He said a man, his iman will never be complete. His deen will never be complete. حتى يغيظ امرأته لله جل وعلا, until he angers his wife, upsets his wife for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Attaqillah. Have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. O woman, have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Have those words come from your mouth in the years that you have been married. Have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And don't harm yourself and don't harm others. Have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And know that the reality of this matter is that it is my responsibility and I will be asked about it. Have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and don't overstep your bounds. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them al-qiwamah. He has given them the responsibility. Yani the man, he looks at the situation. How can he be productive? Now how can he consume? How can he benefit others? Now how can he get the benefit from others? Many people, they look at their situation with their woman, and they look at their situation with their brothers, and they look at the situation with the people around them to see what benefit can they get from the people, and they never look. And they never look. They never look at what benefit they can be. They never look at what type of benefit they can be, how they can benefit the people. Ibn al-Wardi, he said, وَقِيمَةُ الْإِنسَانِ مَا يُحْسِنُ أَكْثَرَ مِنْهُ الْإِنسَانَ أَمْ أَقَلْ. He said that the value of a man is that which he is good at, whether he does that a little or whether he does that a lot. You find the statements of the Sahaba, like the statement of Abu Darda, that comes with an authentic chain of narration, where he said, بِئْسَ مَا لِأَحَدِكُمْ أَنْ يَكُونَ ضَيْفًا عَلَى أَهْلِهِ الدَّهْرِ أَلَا فَلْيَأْكُلْ مَا وَجَدَ. He said that the worst thing that a man can have within himself, brothers, move close. The worst thing a man can have as a description within himself is that he is a guest in his home to his family all of the time. Let him eat what he finds to eat, expecting his wife to serve him hand and foot like she is a slave. The worst thing that can be found in a man is that he is a guest. أَنْ يَكُونَ ضَيْفًا عَلَى أَهْلِهِ الدَّهْرِ. He is a guest in his home all of the time. He is like he is being hosted, like he is a relative that has come from out of town that you have not seen for years. He must be waited upon, hand and foot, entertained in conversation in every way that you can imagine. You know what's worse than that? You know what's worse than that? What's worse than that is that when he's a guest in his home, that he didn't buy that food. When he's a guest in his home, that he didn't pay the rent in that house. Section 8 paid the rent in that house. When he's a guest in that home, food stamps bought that food. And he has the nerve to bark orders at his wife. What has he used from ar-rujula, from manhood and integrity, in running the affairs of his home? Has he used a mind that Allah gave him? Has he used a strength that Allah gave him? Has he used a patience that Allah gave him? Has he used the integrity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala offered to him and made available for him? What is the situation? You find from the people, from the brothers, people who freeload. They freeload with everybody. They freeload with their wife. They freeload in the community. Everything is free. Everything is bargain price. You find the brothers who cannot support a wife, who will go while they have one wife who lives in their projects, surrounded by drugs, surrounded by guns, surrounded by gang members, and they'll go and find a second wife. And they'll go and find a second wife. La ilaha illallah. Ayn al-uqul. Where are the minds of the people? Wallahi al-azim. Where are the minds of the people? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He placed al-qiwama upon the men. And it is from rujula, it is from manhood, that they undertake this responsibility towards their women. Sufyan ibn Sa'id al-Thawri, he said, rahmatullahi alayhi, alaykum bi'amal al-abtal, al-kasbu min al-halal, wal-infaqu ala al-iyal. He said, I advise you I advise you, O men, to behave with the behavior and to do the actions of people who are heroic and people who are courageous and brave. Al-kasbu min al-halal wal-infaqu ala al-iyal. It is that you earn your money from the halal. That you earn your money from the halal. And that you spend upon your dependents. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, Kafa bin mari ithman and yudayya man yaqut. It is enough of a sin for a man that he neglects those that he is supposed to feed. It is enough of a sin for a man that he neglects those who he is supposed to feed. These are the rijal. These are the rijal. We find ourselves in a time that they are few and far between. They are few and far between. And anybody who is real with themselves and real with the situation know that they are few and far between. They are few and far between, brothers, and they are few and far between, sisters. You find a situation like that, a situation of weakness, and a situation where the Muslims are a mahzala to the kuffar. The Muslim, he is upon food stamps. He's upon Section 8. He's upon welfare. Not to use it as a bridge or a ladder to climb out of the hole that he's in and to get up on his feet. And he not to use it as a temporary means of assistance, but his whole life. He sends his wife to the welfare office. And she's popping out child after child after child. Year after year after year. Has more children than the brothers from amongst us who work. And the brothers who have money from amongst us have. And he goes, or she goes down there and he tells her, whatever you do, tell him you ain't married. Whatever you do, tell him that you're not married. And so the caseworker, he or she goes to church and he or she goes to the water cooler and says, what is wrong with these women? These Muslim women, they cover their faces, they cover their bodies, but they fornicate.